Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
A former employee with the Department of Justice has now blown the whistle on President Barack Obama's nomination for labor. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this individual that President Obama has nominated for the labor post is last name is Perez, and he is an individual who worked in the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Former employee now has come out and blown the whistle on how radical he is. But we also at Liberty Counsel have personal information about this individual, or personal dealings with him because of a case in which he prosecuted and was chastised by the federal court. This is an individual who has no business being in this nominated position.
This is an individual, Thomas Perez, who in his worldview and in practice, in his position as with the Department of Justice, has interpreted labor laws and other laws protecting individuals from, for instance, voter intimidation and so forth, as quote, not covering white citizens. What you may recall the instance where the Black Panthers, the new Black Panthers, were intimidating voters at various voting outlets around the country. There was a big blow up about that, and the Justice Department refused to investigate or prosecute these individuals. This is in keeping with that idea that the 14th Amendment, equal protection, doesn't apply to white citizens because they're not a minority.
Yeah, and this is an individual who was behind not pursuing this new Black Panther Party. You remember this situation where the new Black Panther Party, back in 2008, they had clubs and so forth. They were intimidating people coming to the voting ballot box. And it was a very clear case on video of voter intimidation. And then what happened? The Department of Justice dropped the charge. They decided not to pursue it. And who was behind it? Well, you obviously have one of these individuals is Thomas Perez, who was with the Civil Rights Division in the Department of Justice. Now an individual by the name of J. Christian Adams, who worked for Perez in the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, he sent a stern letter to the U.S. Senate about Perez's policies because Thomas Perez has now been nominated by Barack Obama to the Labor Department
of Labor.
And here's what he said in part in the letter, quote, different business groups who don't think the nominee matters should pay close attention to Perez's records, Adams said in an interview with the Washington Free Beacon. He then goes on and says, people like Perez are very skillful at creatively ignoring the law to suit their own ends. Now, Matt, that really hits home here because back in 2010, Thomas Perez with the Department of Justice, filed a lawsuit, federal lawsuit, against Susan Pine down in South Florida, in West Palm Beach, saying that she was a threat, that she had violated the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances law, the FACE law. She should be fined $10,000, and there should be an immediate injunction against her because of her threat. We said at the very beginning this was politically motivated. It had no basis. She was someone who was peacefully out in front of the abortion clinic, had never done anything wrong. And then in 2012, after litigating this, the federal court dismissed the Department of Justice case, chastised the Department of Justice, saying that there was no basis in the law or the facts.
And that it was clear they were conspiring
and
with
that they
Planned Parenthood.
Were likely in a conspiracy with the abortion clinic because they likely set this up. And they miraculously lost some evidence that should have been available. And then also tax them with $120,000 or so in attorney's fees that they had to pay for bringing this frivolous litigation. So when it says that he is very skillful at creatively ignoring the law to suit their own ends, that's exactly what he did in the case that we defended.
Here's an individual who has a track record of abusing his authority and power through both act and omission, Matt. Through act in the sense of targeting pro-life peaceful pro-life protesters to destroy them financially, targeting them to intimidate and destroy, and then through omission ignoring gross abuses of voter intimidation with billy clubs from the new Black Panthers.
Because he interprets this to not protect white citizens. So,
and that's based on an Inspector General report that says that he interprets this Inspector General report.
So the Black Panthers can stand out in front of a voting booth with bullets or guns or clubs or any other thing to intimidate, prohibit white voters from going to the polls, and he would say there's no violation of voter intimidation. There's no interference with the right to vote because they're white.
Yet a peaceful white abortion counselor who is not violating the law in any way, peacefully speaking with individuals at an abortion clinic, he targets for financial destruction. The contrast couldn't be clearer. And as Adams points out in a report with the Washington Free Beacon, Adams said this: a newly unveiled Inspector General report on the division found that Perez interpreted voting protection laws to, quote, to not cover white citizens. So this isn't just us saying this. This isn't just Adams saying this. This is the Inspector General.
This is the Inspector General. And in Christian Adams' book, he does a tell-all book now about his experience working under Perez. He resigned. He could not stand it anymore. We're talking about people who are in the highest federal law enforcement agency in the country, the Department of Justice, and they are prosecuting. And it's an awesome thing to bring the weight of the federal government against an individual. You better do it only cautiously and when it is necessary. Perez did it to intimidate Susan Pine arbitrarily where there was no basis, and chose not to do it
arbitrarily
when he should have in the voter intimidation case. And Perez's duties at the Department of Labor, if he were confirmed, would include the equal, listen to this, the equal enforcement of the discrimination laws in the workplaces around the country. Now, this is
you can't make this stuff up.
No. Obama wants him to be in a place where his duty would be the enforcement of equal enforcement of discrimination laws in the workplace. And he is incapable, Adams says, of carrying out that duty because of his worldview. And I agree with him.
And that's based on an Inspector General report. Matt, this is frightening, but it's in perfect keeping with it's like the bar scene at Star Wars. These radicals that this president picks as his czars and for these very high level posts. Perez is just the latest in a string of radical, quote, progressives who view the Constitution clearly, view the United States Constitution as an encumbrance, and believe that they can willy-nilly and subjectively apply the law to further their own radical goals. This is frightening stuff. This guy is not fit to be part of the Department of Justice. He is not fit, certainly, to be involved with the Department of Labor, man.
Not at all, especially in this role. Because what is he going to do? He's not going to equally enforce the discrimination laws regarding workplace discrimination. He's going to unequally enforce them. He's going to intimidate where he has no business and no authority. And he's going to not enforce when there's clear violations because of his distorted worldview and his racist approach to law and life. This individual should be opposed. If the Senate cannot stop him, certainly if the Republicans cannot stop somebody like this, they can't stop anybody. They need to have a backbone and a spine. These are not the kind of people that you want serving in the highest areas of our government, executing and enforcing these laws when they are absolutely unqualified and unfit.
Yeah, the Senate's duty here is to confirm or not confirm an individual. I hope that, as you point out, that Republicans will grow a backbone here and oppose this nomination up to and including filibustering if need be. This is a dangerous individual who has shown nothing but disdain for the equal protection.
And I hope some Democrats do as well. I mean, this is not a partisan issue. Just because President Barack Obama nominated him, this is someone who's just simply unfit and dangerous for this particular position. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, for more information. Ask for our Patriots Handbook series. We have the handbook on religious freedom in public schools. We also have one on our founding documents, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and more. We also have one on pastors and churches and what churches can do with regards to political activity, and a new one on the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, a very fundamental issue that is under attack here in America. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, sign up for our Liberty Alert and our Liberator newsletter, and remember Liberty Counsel with your contributions right there on the website, lc.org. That's lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.